please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hello and welcome to Overdrive. You're watching the show with me, Sohini Dutt. We are at the venue of India's biggest auto show, and today we will be getting you all the buzz from around here. There are 22 manufacturers who've been showcasing production-ready vehicles as well as electric vehicles. But without any further ado, let's dive right into it.
Quite a few cars have been launched at the 2018 Auto Expo, but the most important one, the Swift. The prices are already out now. It's a little under 5 lakh rupees, the starting price, and a little under 8 lakh rupees for the top end. To rupees 4.99 to rupees 7.96 lakh to be precise. We've already reviewed this car, we've already driven this car. It's available with a 1.2 litre petrol engine or a 1.3 litre diesel, and this time both the engines can be had with an automated manual transmission or AGS in Suzuki speak. Like I said, I think it's a good looking car. It's an evolution of the proven formula of the Swift design. It maintains that silhouette but adds a lot of details that makes it sportier and makes it look all new. This is the Maruti Suzuki Future S concept. It's a concept that envisions a compact crossover-ish vehicle that will sit between the likes of the Kwid and the KUV 100. It has compact dimensions. Maruti Suzuki is known to make really great compact cars. This, however, is a concept that will take production shape in a couple of years from now. Maruti Suzuki hasn't really put any timelines on this particular vehicle, but like I said, it will be a compact crossover-ish vehicle that will sit between the likes of the Kwid and the KUV 100. It is much smaller than something like a Brezza or an EcoSport. And in that sense, I think it has all the ingredients to make it another successful product. Maruti doesn't have a product like this in its pipeline, in its portfolio, but now it has one in its pipeline. The Kwid has already shown us that there is a need and there is a market for a product like this. And the Future S should take shape as another successful product from Maruti Suzuki. We are told you that the Auto Expo is going to have a lot of action in the premium hatchback space. The i20 has been updated, it's got a facelift. Take a closer look at what's changed. The biggest change at the front, of course, is the new grille. We've already seen that appear on the Grand i10. This is the new philosophy, the new design philosophy for the grille that is being followed, and you see that on the i20 as well. It's very nicely integrated. Even though this is a midlife makeover, it doesn't look like an afterthought. Very nicely done up. Even the headlamps have been given an upgrade now. You get new DRLs, you get new fog lamps as well. It's not a very different or not a big departure from the Elite i20 that we've seen, but I think what we have here looks quite smart. If you like the 3-pot cluster of the tail light, you're going to miss that on the new i20. It gets a slightly more different design. I think it looks premium. It looks very much like a typical European design in that sense. And that's the major change at the back. Not many changes on the inside of the i20. It continues with its proven formula of having a nice minimalist design. It continues with a black and beige combination, or rather the colors are a little different than what we've seen on the Elite i20 so far. But it's a nice, refreshing feel inside the cabin, and that's thanks to the brighter colors used. Even the upholstery is slightly different. You get this touchscreen infotainment system in the dash. It's compatible with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, so not a big change there. Hyundai has not just showcased but actually launched the updated version of the Elite i20 here at the Auto Expo. The prices range from 5.35 lakh all the way up to 9.15 lakh. Now this, of course, is the star of the exhibit, but the other vehicle to watch out for at the Hyundai exhibit at the Auto Expo is, of course, the Ioniq, a vehicle that is headed to India. It promises a lot of future technologies like hybrid and electrification, so that is something that you certainly need to check out. Tata has had 2 global premieres today, both concept cars. What you see behind me is the H5X or the H5 Cross, and you also have the 45X. Now, both these concepts essentially are here not just to preview the Impact 2.0 design language, the evolution of the Impact design language that we've seen so far, but also to sort of preview and give us a foretaste of the new architectures that are being developed at Tata Motors. Now, I have the release with me. The architecture that this particular vehicle is based on is called the Omega Arc. Now, the Arc is for architecture, and Omega stands for Optimal, Modular, Efficient, Global, Advanced Architecture. The architecture that's underpinning this vehicle comes from the Discovery Sport from Land Rover. Now, In fact, we are told that this vehicle has been in development for over 5 years. Tata is really betting big on this vehicle. It is going to take shape as a premium crossover, a premium SUV that will be placed above the Hexa. It's more of an urban SUV, not something that's as hardcore as the Hexa when it comes to off-roading capabilities or go anywhere capabilities. So I think it's something like the Skoda Kodiaq, but in a more value for money price tag, but at a much lower price point. So that's something definitely worth looking forward to in a market that is really booming with SUVs and newer segments and sub-segments within this particular body style. And I think this vehicle is something that we all need to look forward to. What Tata has put in that glass box behind me is the 45X concept, which celebrates its world premiere today. This is the car that or the concept that we knew as, or was rumored to be known as, the X451 so far. Now this is more of a technology study. This is more of an insight into the technical direction for the new range of cars that will come out very soon. In terms of design, it wears a design language called Impact 2.0, which is the evolution of the Impact design language that we've seen on all new Tata cars. It's a sharper design language, looks more premium, looks more upmarket, looks quite European in that sense. I'm told that it has been developed in Tata's Italian design studios, and what you see looks quite premium. But more importantly, it's the architecture that is under that design. That is what makes it the more premium vehicle that will come out from Tata very soon. Is the new X4 architecture is what we are told. So what you see here is a premium hatchback. If you look at the side profile, it looks a little bigger than a regular sub 4 meter hatchback that we are used to seeing so far. So I think when it goes into production, it will be under that 4 meter mark, where it will take on the likes of the Elite i20, the Baleno and the Jazz. But that wheelbase, you see it to be longer, and that is what makes me believe that there will also be a sedan, a premium sedan that will be built on this platform, which obviously will be placed over the Tigor. And more importantly, there will be a premium crossover as well, which will be placed above the Nexon and below the Hexa. What you see behind me is the Kia SP concept, which will take production shape and launch the Kia brand into the Indian market by the end of 2019. This concept is quite ready for production. There are, of course, a few bits like the really futuristic looking headlamps, the very detailed tail lamps, and if you look on the inside, you also have those two large display panels which form the infotainment as well as the instrumentation. All that might be watered down. It may become sober by the time this car reaches production, but that's about it. The rest of the engineering, the rest of the bodywork, the rest of the car is very close to what the final production form will be. It will be in the same space as the Creta. That means it will be placed over the Vitara Brezza. It will be placed in that 15 to 20 lakh rupee bracket, and that is what this car is all about.
It's time now for us to check out two sedans which will be launched in the market pretty soon. We will also see some cool concepts that we do hope we will see in production ready form sometime, and we are also going to check out some luxury cars that most of us aspire for.
What you see behind me is the all-new Honda Amaze. The all-new Amaze wears a completely new design. It's inspired by the Civic. We've already shown you that car. It debuted a few years back, and this design sort of is inspired from that. If you look at the nose, if you look at the arrangement of the headlights, if you look at the shape of the tail lights, it's all inspired from the Civic. I think the cabin looks a little more premium as compared to the outgoing car. In fact, even the dash, the in-dash audio unit or the infotainment system, all of it has quite good premium touches. Clearly the game has moved on with the kind of cars that have entered this segment, and the Amaze now looks poised to take on all of those. The launch will happen in the upcoming financial year, that is between 2018 to 2019. Honda has confirmed that, and I think that will be one of their first launches in the 6 cars that they've said they will bring in the next 3 years. Toyota's City, Ciaz and Verna arrival has been a long time coming, and now it's finally made an appearance in the Indian market. It's called the Yaris. Many, including us, speculated that it would be the Vios that Toyota is planning for the Indian market. But what we have is the Yaris. Now the Yaris and the Vios are both based on the same platform. It's a few design details that actually differentiates the two cars. Now this particular model has a slightly sharper design. If you look at the headlights, if you look at the wide grille, the DRLs, everything sort of shows a width of the vehicle in a very sharp manner. Toyota's tried to give this cabin a slightly sportier edge over the rivals. You get this bolstered steering wheel, you get these nice analog clocks for the tachometer, the speedometer, you get a 4.2-inch multi-information display. You have these sleek AC vents as well, so I think it looks quite nice and sporty. Now, instead of going with an all-black layout like what is popular with the Yaris in the Asian markets, Toyota has chosen the more popular color scheme for the Indian market, which is the black and the beige, and I think it looks quite good. The touchscreen infotainment, it's a 7-inch system. I think it looks okay, but we have seen better in this particular segment. So that's a bit of a downer for me. Overall, the cabin has a nice youthful vibe to it, which is a good thing. But we have seen better in this segment as well. But like I always say, design is something of a personal choice. I personally like this. I think it looks quite premium. Now, we are all speculating there'll be a petrol and a diesel motor, but the diesel for now is not going to be available. There's only going to be a petrol motor. It's a 1.5 litre petrol engine. It's based on the same engine that powers the Etios, but this one gets dual or rather variable wall timing on both the exhaust and the intake ports. What that does is higher power. I'm expecting somewhere in the range of about 107 to 110 PS of power and about 140 Newton meters of torque. This engine is going to be available with 2 gearbox options. There's a CVT, automatic, and also a manual. Now, what the specs are, all that will be clear during the launch. Now, when is the launch? Well, the launch is supposed to happen in the second quarter of 2018. May 2018 is my guess, and that is when we'll have all the info on the pricing, the variants. This is the second generation SsangYong Rexton. You already know what the Rexton looks like. This is the second generation model of it. It's grown larger, it's grown more premium. If you look inside and out, it looks a lot more upmarket. Look closely though, there is no SsangYong logo on the grille. In fact, the grille is different if you know what the second generation of the Rexton looks like. This is the famous bucktooth grille because this is the Mahindra Rexton. They have dropped the SsangYong name. They have dropped all those badges that they had on the first generation model. It looks a lot more cleaner now. It looks more premium, like I said, both inside and out. The seats are larger. They are more comfortable. The equipment has gone up as well. That also means the price is going to go up and it will go straight up against the Toyota Fortuner and the Ford Endeavour. When is it going to launch? Well, Mahindra is very tight-lipped about it, but considering the fact that they have taken the hard work of putting their own badges, putting their own grille and re-engineering this car for the Indian market, it should happen very soon. Under that hood is a 2.2 litre diesel engine, puts out about 178 PS of power and 420 Newton meters of torque. Good enough figures to take on the brutes like the Fortuner and the Endeavour. Mercedes-Benz at the Auto Expo has launched the Maybach 650. It's based on the facelifted S-Class. And when you see a Maybach, the first thing you do is get into the back seat. Luxury, of course, plenty of it. That is what the Maybach is all about. That is what this rear seat is all about. Now, this is of course not the limousine or the stretch version, not the Pullman version. But who needs one? Not in India. The kind of space that you have, the kind of luxury that you have in here, that's more than enough for everyday use. When you want to go for your business meetings, this is what you want to be seen getting out of. Speaking of the engine, it's a 6-litre V12 under the hood. It puts out about 630 PS of power and 1000 Newton meters of torque. I don't know what you need that kind of pulling capacity for, but probably that is how it works in the luxury world. You never can't say no to big power and big torque, but big on luxury as well. That is what the Maybach is all about. That's what it's always been all about, and that is what this car is. The price reflects that as well. It's over 2.73 crore for this particular S650 Maybach that you see. BMW has launched the new 6 Series GT in India here at the Auto Expo. Now, you've never heard that model name before, have you? The 6 Series GT. We have heard of the 5 Series GT though. This model replaces it globally. Now, if you look at the back, there's a badging that says 630i. Don't get your hopes high, it's not a 3-litre engine, it's a 2-litre engine, but it puts out a healthy amount of power and torque. 260 PS if I'm not wrong, and 400 Newton meters of torque. It should be good because this car virtually has no competition. Speaking of competition, it will take on the likes of the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, the long wheelbase version that is sold to us. In fact, that rear seat is more spacious that compared to the 5 Series sedan. The rear seat is more spacious, gives you better headroom as well, and that is what the intent of this car is. It wants to give you a lot of luxury, a lot of space, a lot of comfort when you go grand touring, and that is the whole idea of this car. As for this particular car, or rather the 6 Series GT, the prices start at a little over 58 lakh rupees. So do check out your BMW dealership to know the prices in your particular city. I already told you what the competition is. It fits right into that competition where you have E-Class, the 5 Series sedan itself, and of course the aging Audi A6 as well. I think it's a fresh new take on that 5 Series GT lineup of cars. The 6 Series GT to me looks good.
Now there was plenty of action in the two-wheeler space as well. Here's a quick look.
Big news from the 2018 Auto Expo as far as Hero is concerned is this. That's the Xpulse 200. The powertrain is based on the Xtreme 200R, which Hero just recently showed everybody, and the prices will come very shortly. But this motorcycle should go on sale. My guess is by Diwali, but Hero's official line is before the calendar year is out for sure. Now, it's not just a variant based on the Xtreme. They have done a lot of work on it. So to give you an idea, the front suspension is thicker, it's retuned, and it's got more travel, roughly 30 mm more travel at both ends of the motorcycle. Single channel ABS, and currently Hero is saying we are not going to allow you to switch it off because there's a wide variation in customers. May not be a good idea to let them switch it off, although obviously that would help in off-roading. The other part of it is seat height remains quite low, 825 mm, reasonable, and it's a narrow motorcycle, so you get your feet down. There's an LCD console which shows you a lot of information and syncs to your phone, a USB charger under the seat, so in that sense a lot of equipment as well. Overall, convincing dual sport package. I think the time is right. Pricing they haven't commented on, but if I were to guess a price, I would say around the 1 lakh rupee mark. Think about it as about 15 to 20% more expensive than the Xtreme 200R, and for that I think you'd get a lot of motorcycle. In fact, you'd get a small, compact, fun motorcycle that you'd have a lot of fun with. Hero's also making a very clear point saying we did give it 21-inch wheels, 18-inch rear, but we ensured that the handling was fun on the road and off it, and that's something that will be very interesting to see. Because of pricing, I think they're still not going to tubeless wheels. So these are tube. This particular one's wearing Metzeler Saharas. There's some other supplier who will also give you an alternate set of off-road tires. But as I said, convincing. This is what an India-ready dual sport motorcycle needs to look like. And before this year is out, you'll be able to buy one. The Honda X-Blade is based on the current Honda 160cc platform, but it's a new positioning idea. What they're looking for is a motorcycle that sits above the Unicorn but below the Hornet. And in that sense, they've done a little bit of tuning, so it's a little less powerful than the Hornet, but it will give you a little bit more mileage than the Hornet. That's where the pricing should also go. My guess, 75,000 rupees is what you're looking at, and I do like the fact that it looks completely fresh. There's nothing else like this in the market, and that should be a great advantage to this motorcycle when it goes on sale. When does it go on sale? Honda has not confirmed a date yet, but it should be within this calendar year. The TVS Zeppelin presents the idea of a power cruiser. TVS says the power element comes from the fact that they are TVS Racing and they have a history of it. The cruiser comes from the idea that they want to expand into the cruiser space, and it presents a number of ideas. The proportions clearly are what has become accepted as a power cruiser. You could talk about the Deerwell, and there's a couple of other examples. But the point is, it looks like a cruiser. It's got a feet-forward riding position, and it's got a belt drive at the back. Now, the TVS guys are telling us that it's more silent and it's more refined. So we said, are you going to do it on other motorcycles? They're thinking about it, but moving from chain drive to belt drive is a big decision if it's going to happen across the product range. For this format though, it fits. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is all the finished metal on this motorcycle, which is part of the styling and the accenting of this motorcycle. So from the gold finish on the forks, very similar to the RR310 for example, to all of this silver metal work that you can see, it's all part of the design structure of the motorcycle to reinforce the idea of a power cruiser. The engine, it's a running engine, it's a 220cc single, a prototype though, not a production engine yet, and they've added a integrated starter generator which gives 20% torque boost when you're accelerating to the engine. In that sense, it's a small engine but should have performance for a slightly larger displacement class. That's the TVS Zeppelin from the 2018 Auto Expo. Suzuki has 4 products to show us at the Auto Expo, 3 officially and 1 I've figured it out. The bike that is getting launched right now is this. This is the Intruder with fuel injection. Physically the motorcycle hasn't changed, powertrain remains the same, but fuel injection will make the initial pickup better and will make the bike smoother to ride. Price goes up 5,000 rupees and it's on sale now. But the more interesting thing for us is this. This is the Bergman Street 125. It's based on the Axis powertrain. It's about 8 kilos heavier, but Suzuki says they've retuned the engine, so there's no difference in the economy or the performance of this scooter. The idea though, the Bergman name at Suzuki means a maxi scooter, which is a larger format, more space under the seat, a little bit more luxurious, and more importantly, a feet forward position so you can put your feet up like this and ride down the highway. That's the idea of the 125. 8 kilos heavier, but same performance. Price, my expectation, 6,000 to 8,000 rupees more, and it should be on the road by the end of March or early April this year. Very, very exciting because Suzuki is moving into a new segment, and if they can market it right, they will own this segment, as history of the Indian market tends to suggest. The third bike is this. That's the Suzuki GSX S750. It will go into CKD assembly. Pricing should be around the Kawasaki Z900 mark. I'm going to say just above 8 lakh rupees ex-showroom. It's an inline four-cylinder motorcycle. It's based on a very, very legendary series of motorcycles called the Ks. The K5s came out and the 1000 K5 gave its engine to the very, very celebrated S1000. The K5 750 created that. That will go on sale. It should sound absolutely fantastic. Inline 4, and that exhaust is really well tuned. Can't wait to ride it. Should be out on the road latest by June. We are at the stand and they're showing us their new 230cc motorcycles. The engines are completely new, they're liquid cooled now, BS4 but with a carburetor. The prices are good. They'll start at 1.1 lakh rupees versus 1.5 lakh rupees for the 280s. The bikes go on sale in July. They're also showing their electric idea, the Renegade Thor.
Well, with that, we've come to the end of this week's coverage of Auto Expo right here on Overdrive. In case we've not been able to bring in all the action, you can check out all the highlights on our YouTube channel, Facebook as well as Twitter. We'll see you next week. Until then, goodbye and many thanks for watching.